Hey ladies, I'm going to make this quick because I'm in my car. So this is what happened. First of all, I really wanted to do a video outside because it looks pretty out here, but the wind's blowing and it's just a little chilly for my taste. If anybody knows me personally, I do not like the cold, period. So to some people it's like, oh, it feels good outside, but no, to me it's cold. So I'm gonna sit in the car because it's been absorbing the sunlight. The windows have absorbed the sunlight and I feel good in here. I'm like what, how I don't want to compare myself to a snake, but for lack of better terms, you know how snakes, like, when it's cold, they get on a rock or something that has absorbed the sunlight. Like, they try to get, they try to feel that heat. Or they go to the pavement and get that heat, right? So that's me. Listen, I had to come to the car, absorb the heat. But that's not what I came here to talk to y'all about. I wanted to talk to y'all about being mindful of what men brag about. So I was talking to this guy. This was actually not too long ago, but I was talking to this guy, and he was just telling me about himself, what he liked to do, who he hangs out with, and he said he doesn't really hang out with too many men, and he has a lot of female friends. And the female friend that I met him around is a gay woman. She dates other women, and she dresses like a man. So she's like a stud. I think that's the term. So she's a stud. And his explanation for this was because he grew up around women, like his mom, his aunt, he was raised by women. He has older sisters and all of that stuff. Now, back in the day, like when I was a little bit younger, I would be like, wow, he grew up around women, so that means he understands women. He might be a good boyfriend because he understands what women want and how we act and all of that stuff. But as I come into my womanhood, that shit is not okay. And let me tell you why. So, first of all, iron sharpens iron. That's something that my mom always taught me. That means when you are trying to get stronger, right? You need to be around iron so that they can sharpen you. Iron sharpens iron. Now, if you are iron with a different surface, you will be dulled out because you can't be sharpened. Like, y'all can't sharpen each other. You can't help each other grow. That's how I feel about men and women. We can be a weakness for each other. And it's not to say that his female friends don't inspire and motivate him, but I promise you and I guarantee you, when you have men in the room with other men, that respect that they have, that rapport, hey, Renee, that rapport that men build with one another makes them grow. Just like being in a locker room, a football team, having uncles, they hype each other up. They help each other get more money. Corporate America, one of the reasons that I believe women were not allowed in those spaces is because men talk about men's stuff. When you go look at statistics, y'all. If you don't believe me, I know this probably sounds very sexist, but trust me when I say I do not say anything that is not backed by research. Why? Because coming from the field of social work, everything is about both research and practicum. That means that we have our hours in the field, and we also have hours where we just have to do research. We have to write papers. Everything has to be peer-reviewed articles. It can't be anything prior to 10 years ago. So right now it's 2021. So if any of you are in school right now making an APA paper, an article from 2010 wouldn't even be relevant right now. It's 2011 and after, right? So that's just my 2 cents. But when you look at articles related to men, when men are around each other, their testosterone increases around other men. If a man is around a more masculine man, he's going to create a deeper voice. He's gonna be, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do for each other. And yes, women do bring out certain masculine traits in men when it comes to dating, like him wanting to impress you. But as a friend, think about how relaxed we are around friends, right? Hey, Othelia. Think about how relaxed we are around friends, how comfortable we are with them. When you're with your friends, do you try to compete with them? Or, hey, CC, are you more relaxed? Right? So that's what I want y'all to think about. When I talk about this concept, it's not to bash men that just hang out with women. But if you're hanging around women and it's not because you're attracted to them, what are you doing? Like, that was very odd to me. And it sort of seemed to me like he was afraid of growth or competition. So needless to say, we didn't even make it to the first date. We were probably talking for about 2 weeks, very sporadically. And he asked me to go out, and then he texted me something, and I texted back, and then he didn't text me back until like the next day, hours later. So if you're planning a date, that's the type of stuff I don't like. Like, it's only 2 weeks in, I cut him off, right? But he didn't have any aggression about him. There was no urgency to get to know me. There was no urgency to develop a relationship, take me off the market. Like, and men who are very ambitious and who hang out with other men, they know that the competition is real. And men learn from each other, right? So just keep that in mind. Understand that men who hang out with other men put themselves at an advantage. If a man is literally telling you all I do is hang out with women, it also matters who he's hanging out with, you know, and to be honest, it could go one of two ways, right? Either you could look at, okay, he only has women around him who like other women. Okay, I could see a man hanging out with one woman like that, but several, that's weird. Okay? That's very weird. Hey, Corey. And Corey, you step in if you think I'm wrong, because I just got a man in the room. So what I'm talking about right now is a guy wanting to hang out with women. Not women that he's sexually attracted to, but just women that like other women. Like, he hangs out with gay women. And he says that he only really hangs out with females. That's strange. Now, if he was hanging out with pretty girls, feminine women like myself, that's a red flag as well, because it's like, oh, okay, you must want to have sex with them, right? That's abnormal. Men want to hang out with other men, not from a romantic perspective, but because men help each other grow. Hey, Big V. So, let me know if I'm wrong, Corey. And another thing, this is why when you talk to old school men from back in the day, they're like, baby, you can't have my son going with you to the nail salon or the hair salon. They don't play that. Like, they don't play like that. Like, they know a young man needs to be around his father. Why? Because you pick up mannerisms of a woman. And this man was giving very much feminine, I want to be chased type of vibes. And my energy just does not fit into that. It just doesn't. I'm not that type of person. You know, now don't get me wrong. I'm not a woman that feels like every time you make a gesture, I have to run away from you, because that's not realistic. I don't want to be chased to that capacity, because that means I probably don't want you, right? But Corey said you're right. That means I probably don't want you. But you do have to put forth effort and show your interest in me. And that's what he wanted from me. And it's just like, you don't do that. That's not normal, okay? Hey, Theodore. So yeah, I just want y'all to keep that in mind. Watch what he says. Like, again, a normal woman would have overlooked that. Oh, I don't hang out. Well, why? Oh, because I don't trust these niggas and da-da-da. That's probably something that would have came out of his mouth. But for me, as a woman, as a lady, that's weird. Are you afraid of other men? Are you intimidated by them? Did you have a strained relationship with your father? Then come to find out, his father really wasn't in his life like that. He was in and out of prison. Hey, Melissa. Right? So that initially when he said it to me, it was just like, whoa. No daddy. That's the initial vibes, and I was correct. Men who hang out with women have feminine characteristics, period. I don't care how you try to put it. Even if you were looking from a perspective of, okay, let me put it this way. Something that y'all can relate to. Even when you look at a man who wants to pursue women, right? So he has female friends around him because he's sexually attracted to them and wants to have sex with them, so he only hangs out with girls. That's feminine too, because he doesn't have the mentality of the chase if he's trying to befriend you and get next to you so he can trick you out of your vagina. He's not working for that. He's just waiting on his turn. He waiting on that one day where you get mad at your boyfriend and break up with him, or you get cheated on, or your boyfriend beat your ass, and they're never, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard of an instance where a homeboy that was around like that, lurking, literally, I love you too, literally beat up the person. Unless it was back in the day, they beat up the person that put his hands on you. It doesn't work like that. What happens is you get beat up, you go to him, y'all have sex, y'all cuddle up, he's consoling you, right? He doesn't step to that man and check him, because that's not what he was there for. He's not there to be your provider, your protector. He's there for that opportunity for him to slip right on in. That's an opportunist. And again, the qualities that he's displaying are very feminine. And that shit is weird. Love this. That sounds like weirdo / creepy energy. Exactly. Even, y'all, let me tell you. So I'm going to say this last part, and I'm going to tie it back into each other. When I met this man, we were at a party, right? He was very quiet, chill. He gives me like, he a little hood. You can tell. Theodore said values are not the same. Exactly. He a little hood. You could tell by the way he carries himself, right? So I'm not worried about that. You know, I like men who are street smart as well as book smart. Corey said that's deep. It is. And so when he was there, it was like he was staring at me, but he didn't stare. Like if I look back at him, he's not completely making eye contact. He's just watching me. This man watched me for hours. Now then, when I was drunk, when I was intoxicated, that's when he approached me. Hey, pressure rising. That's when he approached me. When I tell y'all I analyze every little thing about a man when he approaches me, I'm not over exaggerating. This is why when you meet with me and you're like, wow, love pays attention to every detail. Yes, I'm a detailed focused person. However, I don't allow that analytical part of me to be over analytical or to push me in a position where I am misjudging a person. So, like the old folks say, you study long, you study wrong. I noticed that, picked up on it, and I kept it moving, right? But some of y'all will notice things like that from a man, and you'll stick around. Oh, well, maybe it wasn't. Or he'll say something. Maybe you say, oh, well, that's interesting. And he noticed there was some discomfort. Oh, no. Well, I'll only do that because of this, that, and the third. He tries to justify his position because he knows that's weird. Right? So you will take his explanation and allow that to overshadow your judgment. Do not fucking do that. And I'm not cursing at you, but don't fucking do it. All right? Shake my head. I'm the same way. Corey said, think he took advantage of you. To get my number? I mean, if we would have had sex with each other, I think that would have been very different. But we didn't even make it to the first date. Yeah, and I can't be taken advantage of, baby. Not in that way. Melissa says shady ass people. Yeah, they just be giving off weird vibes, you know. But to be honest with you, his aura, he's not a bad person, put it that way. And that's another thing. A person doesn't have to be a bad person for them to do some weird shit. He just wasn't taught certain principles that a man in his life could have taught him. He got aunts, he got his mama, he got big sisters. Women do catty stuff all the time, sneaky stuff all the time, right? That's very different. So it's like, if you're around women, naturally, you gonna do sneaky stuff. You get what I'm saying? Facts. Yeah, you gonna do sneaky stuff. So that was normal for his environment. And that's why you gotta know how a man was brought up, the way he thinks. And it'll tell you a lot. Like, when they talk, listen to them. Sometimes I know women are like, oh, I just like somebody that listens. Hold off on that. How about you start off listening and you allow that man to talk to you? And men like that because women don't listen for real. Let's just be real. It took me a long time to learn that skill because I wasn't even taught that at home. My mother was very submissive, but she was still hard-headed sometimes. There's a big difference between soul of man, spirit of men, and men in general. Man must be whole within himself in order to be whole with someone else. Got to be true to self. Exactly. See, look at these men. Y'all stepping up. I'm glad I stopped deleting men off my page. Because at first, people used to come up here trying to talk to me, sliding in the DMs, doing weird stuff. But I got grown men up here now. So Theodore said there's a big difference between soul of man, spirit of men, and men in general. Man must be whole within himself in order to be whole with someone else. Got to be true to self. This man was not whole. He was missing his dad. He was missing that masculine deity. And I'm going to be real with y'all. Men know when they're missing something. They know when they don't have a father figure. This is why they tell you, I didn't have a father in my life. There's women, like, they get in relationships with y'all, and they be like, damn, you taught me so much about money, about credit, about how to be a man, about how I need to treat you. And this is why I tell y'all, you can't teach no man how to be a man, baby. You can teach him maybe certain skills and how you want to be treated, but it's always going to be a hole right here. You cannot fill that. You can't. Why can't you? Because your role is different. Because he's supposed to be he's supposed to be teaching you, pouring into you from a cognitive perspective. It's just like that post I made the other day. Maybe I probably still have that meme in my phone. I'll post it after this live. But basically, it was talking about how a form of intimacy is when a man can teach you things. Y'all, I love that. Like, as a matter of fact, when I came up with my consulting firm, not this one, but the one for business consulting, a guy that I used to date told me that I should start that company, and he gave me hundreds of dollars every month to put into the vision. He said, you have it. You're intelligent. You're business minded. You have knowledge. You're a great speaker. You should do this. He poured into me, and now I have another stream of income because this man is a thinker. He's masculine, and he had the resources to pour into me. That type of man that I was just describing is not going to be able to do that. He going to be looking for how you can make his life better before he even thinks about how he can contribute to you. And a lot of the times they don't think they can contribute anything to you because they already feel broken on the inside. Y'all making me go deep today. Let me read these comments. Melissa said, right, most women don't listen, and a lot of men just pretend to listen, as do women. Absolutely. I will tell you one difference, though, Melissa. The difference between a woman not listening and a man not listening is that women are more emotional. So a man doesn't necessarily have to listen to you to pick up on cues because he's a logical thinker. He can observe your behavior, how you move, the way you think just from watching you. With women, we are... how can I explain it? We are more receptive to what we feel, right? So this is how it's so easy for a man to lie to us and put bullshit in our ear. Because when he says something, we can take that as word. We don't want to listen to anything else. But when they talk, we can hear that as word. So that's the only difference. A man really doesn't have to listen to you to understand you. I know you feel better after you got this off your chest. Corey, what are you talking about? Hey, Cal. My fiance does that. Past men did nothing. True. Good. That's good. Yeah, you should have that. A fiance that knows, because that's another thing. Women are so creative, and when we have an outlet to put that creativity into, when it's not stifled, when we're not using our creative measures to be providers, you get what I'm saying? When we're not channeling it into masculine type of activities, we thrive. Like, I was so happy that I have been blessed with those type of relationships. I really am. And so now that I'm a little bit older, it shows me exactly what I want. Hey, Ash. It shows me exactly what I want and what type of man I really need to grow. I cannot grow with a man who is not masculine. I can't even respect him. I can't even be in his presence. So that's why I say, again, first 2 weeks, it was like, this feels weird, right? Something's missing here. And it's because you are still on that path of discovering yourself. Like, I know who I am. I know I'm going to change and evolve, but he just wasn't there yet. And that matters. And part of that comes from not having that balance, you know. I can tell even when it came to my parents, like my mom, very feminine. My dad, very masculine, like not in touch with his feminine side at all. My mom, overly nice, right? So having both of those in the house, it allowed them, first of all, to be themselves. But the second thing was that it gave me the best of both worlds. You know, and this is not to say if you didn't grow up in a home with both parents that you can't cultivate that. You can, but it is more difficult because you're not seeing what behavior from a man and a woman are supposed to look like. So I'm about to post this video. I didn't even mean to go this far into it, but yeah, don't be trying to date men that only hang out with women. That's weird. Make sure that he has some sort of accountability from other men in his life, and that it's not just, uncles who were close to his age. Like, that doesn't count. I'm talking about grown men. I'm talking about a granddad, somebody that takes him fishing, you know, took him on his first boat, took him to get his first passport, took him on a nice trip, taught him how to pull out a chair for a lady, how to wine and dine a lady, stuff like that. You don't need to be getting into a relationship with nobody and you got to tell them how to do everything. What is that? All right. Then you're becoming his mother. Hey, Carolyn. So yeah, I'm about to put this on my IGTV. Oh, I did a, I won't call it an emergency event, but it's more impromptu. So I am having How to Manage Your Emotions Part 2. Y'all loved Part 1, so I'm having How to Manage Your Emotions Part 2. So if you are interested in that, slide in my DMs, or you can drop a money bag in the comments and I'll send you the details for how you can get into that Zoom. All right, because it will be a private event. I love you. Have a good one.